Alright, and we're back with another car vlog. Yeah. I'm doing this one a little, how to put it. It's a bit sooner than I was expecting to do one of these. I normally do these as like intermittent between content. I've been thinking about it, and I'm gonna wait till I have like 100 full uploads to do like a 100 upload special. Cause like I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, these TikToks, these live streams, there's something separate. So I wanna make sure like the videos get the the proper, the proper treatment, right? And that's gonna be a little bit more work on my part too, cause like when I stream and I don't stream on YouTube, I do upload the video to YouTube so that it can be a part of the playlist. So that's something I'm gonna have to dice through and figure out. So I got 100 uploads almost. This will be the 100th one, 100th thing on the channel. But I've only got like roughly 68, 69 videos that are not just live streams or shorts. So there's that. But what I want to discuss here, I wanted to bring up something. I'm really thinking about getting some folks together to try and do a podcast so we can discuss it like in a panel type of format maybe. I don't know if I'm going to do it in person or over Discord or something, but I want to talk about Disney. I think Disney's in a weird place right now. Like, obviously, the company, the brand's big enough that it's not going to disappear. Nothing's going to be wrong with it. But it is having some problems. And it's being noticed in many places. So I don't know how much you guys pay attention to, insider information, news articles and whatnot. But like, where do I even start? So some things I saw today. There was an article, and I can't even cite nothing right now because I'm driving the car. But there was an article that got shared to me on Facebook. And I think it was Screen Rant, actually. But Screen Rant had made a post about how the MCU's already set up 5 major villains that are bigger than Kang the Conqueror. Now, do I believe that? Probably not. Do I think they could do that? I mean, they could. But that leads into my follow-up statement, which is the Jonathan Majors issue. So, like, a couple weeks ago, Jonathan Majors got arrested because I guess an ex-girlfriend or a current girlfriend or some woman he was involved with in some way. I don't know what this is supposed to mean. But apparently strangled her, right? Allegedly. I've seen reports saying that the woman who made the claims, I don't think revoke's the right word, but she took her statements back. Do I have any way to confirm or deny this? No. These are all just headlines I'm seeing. But sometimes these headlines be true 6 to 8 months down the line. So I want to go ahead and get on talking about this so I can track where this goes. So Jonathan Majors gets arrested, yada, yada, yada. I don't know if he's still in there. Because it's like Trump got arrested and he was at the UFC match. It's a wild world we live in. But, Jonathan Majors, obviously he's playing King the Conqueror right now. He is set up as the big bad of the next 2 phases, right? Phase 5 and Phase 6. Because Phase 4, it's already over with, right? So, I gotta be careful making these left turns, because the thing's holding my phone, it'll fly off the vent. So I gotta be a good driver for you guys too, along with trying to tell you guys about this. But Jonathan Majors, it is in question whether or not he will be able to make his cameo. Now I don't remember which product the cameo was going to be in. I don't know if it was Loki 2 that they were referring to, or if it's something else. But there was something that Kang's supposed to pop up in, and we are kind of conflicted on whether or not he's going to show up there due to these allegations. Now, we did see, I have this urge to like reach out and try to grab the phone so it doesn't fall. I got to be brave, and I got to believe that the phone is not going to fall. But, Jonathan Majors, gotta get caught back up. A lot going on the road right now. Sorry. But Jonathan Majors, he's our big bad King the Conqueror. He may not be in the movies, and I don't know if that means they know information and Disney plans on dropping him like they did with Johnny Depp when his allegations hit the news. I'm not sure, because the whole situation's fucking. Because the only reason the internet or anybody knows that there was a charge for the, I'm gonna just say domestic violence, because like what else is a strangulation between you and your spouse or your girlfriend or whatever, right? The only reason we know about it is because apparently TMZ found the information and like leaked it. But it's like, where did TMZ find it from? I'm sure like arrest records are like public documents, but it's just like the fact that the lady who pressed the charges then dropped the charges. That's interesting. Now, I don't know if she dropped the charges because, what's the right way to say it? I don't know if the charges were dropped because it was a lie, or if because that lady didn't want all the attention she was getting from online. Because I'm under the impression the internet took very little time to figure out after TMZ said he was accused of this. They found out who it was, right? I feel bad for that lady because, one, if this did happen to her, she should be able to go to the police and file this report and things should be handled. But if this is a lie, I think it's very, how to put it, it's in very poor taste that she would do this to this actor right when he's kind of like peaking in his career a little bit, because it's like you get 2 movies back to back that are like doing good at the box office relatively. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But aside from that, it makes me worry about Marvel. So not only do we have the King the Conqueror issue popping up, we've also got discussions of the Blade movie being put in hiatus or on hold or whatever you want to describe it as, because the guy who was playing Blade wasn't getting along with the director. So it's like, what's going on here? Let's see. We've also got the Thunderbolts movie. Apparently, it's currently going through rewrites right now because they don't want to have it essentially be Black Widow 2, which some people online are saying that's how they were selling this product to begin with. That's how they were marketing it, as like a follow-up to Black Widow, because I mean, it does take half the cast from Black Widow and stick them in the movie, right? But you've also got Bucky, you've also got U.S. Agent, which was the John Walker dude from... Will you let me get... Oh, you know what? Turn signal. Now, will you let me get over? Because I need to get over. Man, y'all can't see it right now, but there's a car, and it's just right next to me, and he just will not go faster so that I can get over. Like, I need to get over, guy. And then the guy behind him's going just as fast. Hold on. How do you guys think traffic works? Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? This is absurd. I have my turn signal on, and literally nobody is giving me room or opportunity to get over. Finally. God. I'm gonna just go ahead and get over again. Because it's like, who's gonna know if I'm ever gonna get the chance to fucking change lanes? Anyways. And this is why I want to get like a podcast thing together so we can have some folks discuss it. Because I like I said, today I saw some articles, some on Facebook, some just on MSN, wherever. But I feel like this is worth talking about. And like, as somebody who's been watching the Marvel movies since like Hulk, which was the very first Marvel movie. Well, I take it back. Blade was the first Marvel movie. Hulk was the first one that was a part of the grand scheme that is now the MCU. Hulk was the first one. And I've been watching all of these things since then. Now, I will admit, Phase 4, I started experiencing the fatigue. But, and I need all these little tidbits, just like, you know how Charlie Day's got his little like corkboard with all the lines and the sticky notes and shit. I need like one of those with all like my thoughts and like all my sources. Because when I say like I'm not experiencing superhero movie fatigue, I'm experiencing bad movie fatigue. And I think it extends a little bit further past bad movies because like Marvel has extensively shoved themselves into TV shows as well. And let me tell you, as somebody who has been following this from the beginning, I was all on board with having the TV shows cross over into the movies and it being one huge interconnected universe, right? Like, I'm totally for that. It's just, I thought, you know, when they introduced that, what is it, S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show? You know, take the hair out. But, that one wasn't really connected. It was in its own universe, apparently. Which, who knows if they'll bring something from that over, right? Because everything's in the multiverse now. But, hold on, I had little notes here. So we talked about Blade being in a weird place. We talked about Kang not being a definite thing anymore. Like, all this shit's up in the air. And it's like, if you know what I'm saying though? It's just like you got rewrites in conjunction with actors who are in big positions possibly not being there. You've got websites saying things like, we know who our next possible villains could be that are even bigger than this guy. And I think right now we don't need bigger. We just need more focus. And like, maybe I'm wrong for saying that, but that's just the vibes I'm getting off. Because Phase 4, if their whole plan was to just introduce a bunch of characters, it didn't do a good enough job. There was too much passing the mantle in this phase. And now, here we are at the beginning of Phase 5 wondering, are we even going to make it to the end game now? Right? Because our big bad is up in question. So you're going to replace the actor? Right. Because clearly you guys have an issue with replacing the actors post-Rhodey. Because it's like, it's so crazy how many people were like, when Chadwick Boseman initially died, rest in peace, nobody wanted anyone else to touch Black Panther. And then maybe like 4 or 5 months before Black Panther 2 came out, general consensus was they probably could have replaced him, right? And it's like, folks online, they had a bajillion ways that they could have worked that. It could have been a Black Panther from a different timeline, could have been the passing of the mantle, which that's what they did to Shuri, but she's not like the Black Panther. I don't know, man. I watched that movie twice. It's fun. It's got Mexican Aquaman in it. Or should I say Aztec? Is that offensive? I mean, look, it's only funny because Dr. Umar said it. He said, the Mexican Aquaman beat up the black superhero. And it's so funny how he says this shit. But, I'm talking about Marvel because this leads into Disney, because Disney's got like a big problem overall, which I believe that like all parts of Disney, except for maybe Pixar, are running on fumes. I think Marvel's at this weird place, and I think actually Pixar could be involved in this. Okay, so there's like this big conversation about identity politics going on right now. A lot of it goes over my head sometimes. A lot of it I'm burned out on because I've heard the same talking points over and over. But like one of the things that I have also noticed that lines up with that narrative is specifically in Marvel, a lot of the characters that we had that were the basis of phases 1 through 3 are either dead now, they've either been replaced by a female character whose power set is the exact same, or they've passed their mantle to someone else. Most of them being women. Captain America passed his to Falcon, which I've got personal gripes with that. My friends are like, oh, you shouldn't feel that way, blah, blah, blah. I think Falcon should have stayed Falcon. Whether or not he had the shield as an extra weapon or accessory, I think he should have stayed Falcon. I think calling him Captain America is a little lazy, right? How do I put it? It's the same way I feel about these remakes that Disney's doing, like with Little Mermaid, for example. Instead of making a new character that is black so that we can meet our representation quota, right? We're just going to take an old character that was originally white, race swap it to a black character, and then call it a day. And that just seems lazy to me. People might think I'm wrong for this. That's fine. That's fine. My reasoning is, it kind of feels like hand-me-downs, right? It's like, they just want these black people to be acting so bad. Look, just give them the Little Mermaid, right? And I got issues with that. Now, do I think the Haley girl or whoever is Little Mermaid right now is going to do a bad job? I don't know. I've never seen her act before. It's not going to be as big a deal for me because, how do I put it? It's not that big a deal for me, one, because these remakes just kind of go right past me. Most of them I didn't care about. The ones I did watch, I was kind of like, this could just stay in a cartoon. There's like a lot of expression and like, I don't know, there's a unique charm that you get to having the 2D cartoon animation as opposed to this live action thing. And the biggest problem with these live actions isn't that they're making them live action, it's that a lot of these stories have talking animals. And they don't translate to live action very well at all. Lion King was probably the best attempt they've had at it so far. Wasn't really feeling it. A lot of the animals kind of look gross. Could just be subjective, but I feel like I've seen a lot of people that share the same feeling that these 3D or these live action talking animals aren't hitting, right? Not too long ago, me and some friends, we watched a couple trailers, Little Mermaid being one of them. Was not feeling Flounder, like, and this could just be the nostalgia brain talking, but it's just like Flounder was a chubby fish with some high cheekbones, right? Now he's like an actual flounder, just flat as fuck. Maybe I'm wrong for wanting it to still be a bubbly fish, right? I feel like the animation team could have done that. I feel like the fish on a flounder that looks like an actual flounder is gonna look so bad when it starts talking. And then you got Sebastian the Crab. How do I put it? Sebastian the Crab in the cartoon had a head. Sebastian the Crab in the live action remake is a literal crab that's got like these little tethery bits for eyeballs. Does not look as good. It just does not. What's another one? They've got a remake of Peter Pan coming out. It looks mediocre, right? A lot of this stuff is just mediocre. And it's not gonna like make or break anybody. The problem is you're remaking old stuff and you're not making it better. So when these things come out and they catch all this flack, I'm trying to figure out like the best way to word this. Because I don't think as many people would be upset at these remakes if they were like genuinely good. But it's like, instead we're just taking stuff and modernizing it. And like a lot of the charm of these old stories was the fact that they are kind of relics of the past. Like everything nowadays is kind of, the world building is like very multicultural, very diverse, and it's like, this isn't an issue, but you're doing things like taking medieval 1700s, which is like predominantly white themed in TV and movies, and then you're just like sticking black people everywhere, which is fine. I would argue that black people probably existed in a lot of these like timepieces. It more so falls to like the presentation, right? Because I tell people this all the time. I probably would care less or not care at all about like these race swaps and stuff, or these gender swaps of characters, if they would just like release the product, give us the good story, you know, give us some cool insights on the character, as opposed to saying, when their marketing, you know, their marketing cycle comes around, their rollout process is like, look, we've got a new show. Look at this gay character. We have the gay character. Come watch this. That's gay character. If you don't like gay character, you're bigoted, right? Or it's like, look, we have women. Come watch this show, this movie. It's got women in it. Main lead. Women haven't done this before. This is brand new territory. Come watch this woman do this thing. If you don't, you're sexist. Or it's like, oh look, we swapped the character to a black person. Aren't you excited? We got black people now. Come on, you should be so excited for this. And it's like, no. If you would just sell me the story, give me some cool highlights, then let me watch it and then go, damn, this is crazy. You know, I enjoyed the story. And you know what? It's cool that I can empathize, sympathize, I don't know, associate this character with myself because they share the same skin tone as me, or they share the same sex as me, or they share some sexual preference or identification as me, right? Like, I don't, and look, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think the problem is that they're putting gay characters or black people or women at the lead. I think the problem is how they're selling this stuff to us. Because, like, if you meet a normal person, like a regular person in the streets, most of them either don't have an opinion, or they're all for gay people having rights, they're all for trans people having rights, right? It's when it becomes this, like, invasive thing that, like, you have to do this, or you have to appeal to this, where it's like, we just want to live our lives. Most people don't even interact with more than 100 people, right? So, like, they're not even gonna have an opportunity to have access to somebody from one of these groups a lot of times. Like, most people live in their neighborhoods. I'm not going to say most neighborhoods are segregated, but there's kind of like a woo! See what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about, guys. Oh, no! My fear! I made a left turn a little too hard. Yeah. All right. But, am I conveying this right? Am I making enough sense? Because it's like, I'm at an intersection and this car is making the hardest choice. All right, we move now. But I feel like I've gone off on a tangent now. Let me look at my notes. Oh yeah, so I was tying all that in because, you know, obviously people are gonna say it's an agenda. I don't know if it's an agenda per se. There's plenty of YouTubers you could find that could probably find enough evidence to prove it, and I'm sure there's a lot of YouTubers that could do the exact opposite, right? I don't know if it's an agenda. I don't care if it's an agenda. You know, that's not for me to decide. Let me look back at these notes real quick. Oh yeah. I'm tying this all together because I think Disney's in a little bit of some hot water right now. So obviously you got Marvel in a weird place for all those reasons I just mentioned. You've got regular Disney in a kind of a weird place because the things I mentioned with remakes. Then you've got their Star Wars division, which is also in a weird place because Star Wars, they've slowed down their movie rollouts, right? The next thing we're going to get movie-wise from Star Wars isn't going to happen this year or probably next year. We're just getting TV shows for now. And their front-running TV show, The Mandalorian, is having some issues. It started off season 3 with 40% lower viewership than season 2 ended with. Now, I don't know if that's timing. I don't know if that has to do with another TV show coming out that's a little more popular at the exact same time. I don't know if that's because like video games are hitting real hard right now, so nobody's watching TV, they're playing video games, or they're going out and doing something. Could be a bajillion factors, right? But it is a little telling, and I don't know what it's telling us. This is some information that we need to find a way to properly discern what the true meaning behind it is. But the viewership's down. We've made it to episode 6. People are critiquing Jack Black and Lizzo for being in the episode. I've seen the clip. Honestly, it didn't bother me all that much. Sorry, I had to look both ways before I crossed the street. It honestly didn't bother me all that much. Was Lizzo's acting bad? I don't think it was bad. Could have been better. She probably could have sold me a bit more, made me feel a little more Star Warsy. But here's the thing: we're making cameos with people that have extremely strong personalities, right? Like Jack Black, he can blend in. He can be a character in the world because Jack Black is already an actor. He's already established that he can play multiple characters. He's already established that him as Jack Black is separate from the roles he plays, right? But a lot of these people that will cameo, they kind of cameo as themselves in this world. And I don't think Lizzo is making herself as Lizzo in Star Wars, but I think her personality is so strong, and like the momentum that she built up to the point that she is in her career now has kind of solidified how people see her. So when you see Lizzo in a movie, you're like, oh, there's Lizzo. You don't go, well, who's this character, right? Like, because with Jack Black, I feel like people can separate him a little bit more. But that's just me personally. Maybe there's a bit more context. Maybe there's some scenes I haven't seen of her acting that are a little subpar, right? These things happen. Mediocre television gets made every day. So, like, I'm not going to hold them on that. But the thing that is telling is now that we've gotten our episode 6 out, it seems that the focus of the show has shifted from Mando, or Din Djarin, or however you say dude's name, to whoever this lady Mandalorian chick is, right? She just recently jumped in the water alongside Mando, and now she's the Mandalorian. How do I feel about that? I don't know. I feel like, personally, I might go watch the show, try to get caught up and know all the shit, just so I can make a better informed decision. But from the outside looking in with the knowledge I do have, it does kind of feel like Star Wars is mimicking the problems that Marvel's facing right now, or vice versa. Because I don't know which one of them did it first, right? One of my favorite terms that have come out of this whole, like, identity politics nonsense is girl bossing. It's so funny to me. It's just like, you got a female lead who's doing a girl boss, you know. You got a girl that's getting it all, girl boss, you know. But it is kind of sad to see these cool male characters that we started getting like a decade ago or 5-6 years ago. Now they're just kind of on screen as like idiots. They're just kind of dumb nowadays. And I'll give an example. So Wong, he gave off the vibe of one of the most well-read and most well-versed, I was about to say magicians, but I guess sorcerer would be the better word, right? One of the best sorcerers at Carmitage. Next time you see him outside of those movies, you see him in... He makes a little cameo in Infinity War and Endgame, but like not enough that like you can tell there's a change in his character. The next time you see him is in... Folks is dropping hella slow in my neighborhood. But is it Multiverse of Madness? Yeah. Next place you see him is Multiverse of Madness. And he makes what, in my opinion, seems like not the decisions you would make as Sorcerer Supreme. People will argue with me, whatever, right? It kind of sucks when you see cool characters being dumb for the sake of the story, right? Like, a lot of days we get these stories and these characters, they have these really dumb moments, or like they forget a power or ability that they used maybe not even an hour ago, and it's just like, where's this move at, bro? How'd you just forget you had that in your moveset? And the last time you see Wong, I better call him Wang, is in She-Hulk. And what's he doing in She-Hulk? Ignoring his job and watching HBO. Which is fine, right? I don't mind him being human. I don't mind him having Madeline as a friend. But when you go from being like the second smartest guy when in terms of like using magic to being in She-Hulk, seeing a portal is open with demons coming out of it, instead of closing the portal, you summon the She-Hulk to punch the demons through the portal one by one so that you can... No, let me take it back. You open a second portal so that She-Hulk can punch the demons that are coming from the first portal through the second portal. And then once she's punched about half of them through, then you use your brain and just turn the portal into a vacuum and suck all the demons out. It's like, dog, why didn't you open on that? But that's what I mean by like characters getting dumbed down or just like feeling like they don't do the thing anymore, whatever the thing might be, whether it's magic or Doctor Strange not using all his moveset or, you know, just stuff along those lines. But it is weird to see that trend start pulling up in Star Wars. Well, I would say it's strange, but then again, there is that quote that like the Force is female or something like that, and it does kind of beg the question. It's like, is Disney only planning to release properties with like female leads for the next like 10, 15 years? Like, how long is this gonna go for? Right? It's not the worst thing y'all could be doing, but it is questionable, because it's like, at some point, you're gonna alienate a portion of your audience. And the question is that portion of your audience gonna be like a big portion or just a small group? Because like, you can lose small groups all day, but if you lose too many small groups, then those small groups become like one bigger group, you know? And it would be like a really big shame for like comic book movies, which started off as like a predominantly male-driven hobby, right? Like, comic books, mostly dudes read them, blah, 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 you know, teenagers. And, I don't know, man. It would just suck to see, like, Disney kind of fall off because nobody's really buying anything. Because, like, who are they appealing to? Like, 10% of audience goers, right? As opposed to, like, 90% they were doing beforehand. Let's see, we touched on I'm parked, by the way, so I'm just like fucking with stuff in the car. This was my notes that I wrote out. Have I hit all the points? Captain Marvel's in an odd place. Honestly didn't even feel like reading those articles because like I thought Captain Marvel was a weird inclusion into the MCU to begin with. It's just like, one, I don't like when you do a prequel on movie 2 or 3, right? I'd rather you just play the movies in order, right? Like, if you're gonna release it, start at the beginning and then let us build up with the movies. Don't just go, all right, check out this story. No, just kidding. You got to go back 30 years to learn about this character who's gonna show up for 5 minutes of screen time. So I really didn't really care for Captain Marvel. I thought there would be a cool way to spin Captain Marvel in the future titles post Endgame. But we're probably not going to get there because, I don't know, there seems to be some discrepancies with the actresses and the people making the show or the showrunners or whatever. Because I saw somewhere that, like, apparently Brie Larson's upset that she's not getting a Captain Marvel 2, which is like, did Captain Marvel really need a number 2? You're already the strongest thing on the screen. Like, what kind of character progression could you go, like, what kind of character arc could you really go down, right? Like, she's not Superman, so she's not trying to, like, figure out how to live as a normal person or, like, you know, try to move myself from God to man so that I can live amongst men. She's literally, I'm a god. I'm going to fix the problems of the universe into space. You didn't see it. I threw my fist up like I was flying, though. But, I don't know. They did something weird with that because you got 3 Captain Marvel characters. You got Photon, you got Captain Marvel, and then you got Miss Marvel, which they changed their superpowers. Maybe that's... I don't know. I never understood why they changed their powers. I also never watched the TV show because sometimes you can look at a product and tell you're not the specific demographic, you know? Like, this game wasn't made for me, you know? Which is weird because some stuff comes out and it's like nobody can tell who it's made for. Like Velma, for instance. It's supposed to be an adult show. All the characters are kids, though. Who is this made for? Let's see. But yeah, is there anything else? I could probably also talk about Disney Plus and how I think that's affecting just Disney as a whole, because like the way streaming works, you want to get content out as, you know, regularly as possible, so people keep putting it on repeat, because it's not about quality anymore. It's about like the quantity of plays you can get. But I feel like I want to chalk that up and put that into some more well thought out questions and discussions for a podcast or something, because I really feel like there's something to be discussed here about Disney and how it feels like they're in the process of alienating the majority of their fans. And like I said, I could be wrong. I could be full of shit. But there's just a couple things that keep happening that reinforce what I'm hearing and how I'm feeling. So, I want to thank you guys if you made it this far, because I know this video was like super long. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you could leave a comment, tell me something you want me to discuss in the future, or if you got some input on this Disney discussion that I could take to my podcast when I get around to it, please do that. It'd be very helpful. Also helps with the algorithm and getting noticed and that jazz. It would help if you subscribe. You can also find me on other social media platforms. I'm also expanding where I'm streaming at. I don't know if I'm gonna try Rumble, but I'm on Kick now. So I'm on Kick, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find me just about anywhere. Let's see. You can also find me on Reddit, but don't go looking for me on Reddit. That's rude. So thank you guys. Also share this, because if you think I'm saying something that's worthwhile and you think people should hear some of these points, please share it or clip it or something. Because like when I'm talking about this isn't about like fame or clout or recognition. This is because like I truly like these products, and discussing how they could be improved or the things I like about them really like fulfills me. It puts the tingles in my brain. So yeah, just a shout out to everybody that made it this far, that's been watching my content, that's keeping up with me. I just want to say thank y'all, and until the next one, peace.